So chapter 11, Atma Nirvriti, Jnanayum Vrittigalum, Thoughts and Myself. So far in Atma Nirvriti, we have understood a few things experientially. So you just check, have you understood these things experientially or not yet? Everything is made up of consciousness. Everything is consciousness. And everything arises in consciousness, plays in consciousness, and disappears in consciousness. So this game of arising, playing, and disappearing is also known by consciousness. And what is consciousness? Consciousness simply means that which is simply awareness. It is not any magical material out there, something great, some goldish color that I'm going to see. It is simply my awareness. It is an expansive void of awareness. And why do I call it void? Because it is empty, yet it is full. It is full only of itself. So it is a full emptiness or an empty fullness. It is alive and knowing, yet it is objectless, means I cannot see it, I cannot experience it, I cannot even know it. When I, the one that wants to know, that wants to experience, when that I just melts away, when it disappears, what remains is that objectless ocean, the objectless ocean of consciousness. It is not nothing and it is not something also. Yes, it is simply an alive knowingness. So for a moment, just close your eyes and take that step beyond the body and the mind. And dive into the infinity of nothingness. That field of nothingness itself has the knowledge of itself, it recognizes itself, and there is that sense of I am. If you stay there long enough, relaxed, you will notice there are moments when the I arises and is experiencing a field of nothingness, and then there are moments when that I dissolves and disappears into that void of nothingness. Keep observing the sense of I am arises and disappears, arises and disappears. So that which is arising and disappearing is the I thought. That is the sense of I am. This is the meaning of creation and projection of the I. The I arises when it has knowledge of itself and it disappears back when it is not knowing itself. How did it have the knowledge of itself? Because the background, the ocean of awareness, of consciousness itself is a bank of knowledge. It is the source of knowledge. It is that same source of knowledge arising and having the knowledge of itself. It is the same bank of knowledge becoming aware of itself. That is the sense of I am. That is how the first thought, the I thought, is projected. every night when you arise from the deep sleep state, this is the first thing that is projected, the I. This I is the seed of projection. This I is the beginning of the projection of my personal world. You can slowly open your eyes and look at your projected world around. Your room, your own body, your home, your people around. This external personal world has been projected from that single I. When you come to this external world, that I forgets its background, it forgets its source. It becomes the ego. So, sense of I am is equal to the I thought, which is the first thought, is equal to the witness consciousness, is equal to the ego. These are the same. You can open your eyes now if your eyes are still not open. So, you found the seed of projection. Could you experientially recognize it? You have this glimpse from your transition from deep sleep towards the waking state slowly. You've seen this before. Yes? So, those who could not see it right now in this short exploration, homework number 1, tonight when I go to sleep, I keep a sankalpa that I will be very aware during my dreaming state, my deep sleep state, and then my transitioning in the morning back to the dreaming to waking. And let's see, maybe I can recognize this from that absolute void of nothingness. The sense of I am arises. It again disappears, it arises, it disappears, it arises. It does the dance for some time. Yeah. Can you recognize it? And then it, of course, goes into thoughts. You lose it later. Yeah? But this is your homework number 1. Can I recognize it? Yes. So we'll go deeper today. Even if it seems like, oh, I have not yet experienced this, don't worry. We have to take it on as homework and be open. It'll come. It'll come. You cannot practice this. It's not a practice. It cannot be cultivated. Oh, I am going to do this tonight. It's not going to happen that way. I'm just going to be open and relaxed. And if it is meant to come to me tonight or tomorrow morning, it will come. Yes. So I have to just be open and aware. More focused on witness consciousness than husband, wife, child, friend, party, money. If your thoughts are there, this will not happen. To be very focused here throughout the day, so that even in the night when you are lying down to go to sleep, the same sankalpa carries on. And then you will see, you will transition from the deep sleep into the dreaming in the morning, and there you will notice it. Yes, it arises, falls, arises, falls. At that time, it's just a sense of I am. Not I am Ekta. Just होने का एहसास. Just a sense of being, sense of existing. In Marathi, अस्तित्वाचा आभास. It's only an abhas, just a sense. You cannot, it's not words. So that sense is there of the I, and it keeps appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing, till it wakes up completely and gets attached to something. That is the seed of my personal creation. Again, do not get tensed. Do not get feverish about this. Oh, I have to see this. I am not seeing this. Relax. You've just got introduced to it today. It will come when it has to come. Okay? So what has happened? What have we recognized? When I am in deep sleep. Now we are assuming. I am going to assume that you have experienced this the reverse way. You experienced the void, and you experienced from the void the sense of I am, or the I thought emerges. You're still transitioning in the morning from the state of deep sleep towards the dreaming. The transitioning also happens in stages. So now we are going to see these stages. Now the witness consciousness that has come up, the sense of I am and is disappearing, I am and it's disappearing, suddenly forgets its own true nature. It forgets its identity as this beautiful, quiet, serene, peaceful, full of knowingness ocean. It forgets its identity and it becomes I. It perceives itself as I. This is the first thought. This is called the projection of the ego. Just the I is the first projection. The projection of the ego. Ego is nothing but the mind only. The ego plus mind looks back at this ocean of consciousness. Do you think it can recognize it as consciousness now that it's forgotten its identity? It doesn't. It recognizes it as space. So from the I thought, there is projection of space. There is no space created. There is simply an idea. It is simply a thought. There is I and there is space. And this happens every night in my deep sleep state. There's that astitvatsa abhas or hone ka ehsas, or the sense of I am. The I forgets its true identity, looks back at it, at consciousness, and labels that as space. Akash Tattva is projected. Slowly you transition towards the mind. Right now it is still ego, I, plus space element that has been projected. It now transitions towards the mind. How does it do it? The ego assumes I I can think. I am the thinker. I am this thought. Blah, blah, blah. This thought is nothing but sound. Thus, the sense of sound is projected. So, first the I thought or ego, I was projected. Then space element was projected. Space is the medium for the sense of sound or the sense of hearing. The sense of hearing is projected, which is called Shabda Tanmatra. Those who've done Yoga Vashishta with me, I have introduced Tanmatras before. Tanmatra means a very small degree of every so-called external sense that makes you experience the external world actually exists in a very small degree in the mind. So the sense of hearing or the sense of sound that already exists in the mind. Yoga Vashishta also says the same thing. It's projected from inside out. Yeah. So space element is required for sound to be carried. It is the medium of sound. Thus the space element is projected first, then the sense of sound is projected or sense of hearing. I'm using it interchangeably, it's the same thing. In Sanskrit, that's called Shabda Tanmatra is projected. And of course, the object of sound is that thought saying, I can think, I am the thinker. That's how you start transitioning from the deep sleep state to the dreaming state. It's all very blurry. You're not seeing anything yet. You're just hearing your own thought. So if you really remember really moving out from a deep sleep state towards the dream state, you will recognize that it's very blurry sound. At first, the thoughts are not loud and clear. They are just like white noise. Some blur. Doesn't make sense at all in the beginning. Yeah. So this visual is just to tell you it's blurry sound, not blurry images. Yeah. First, there is just sound. Very clear? From deep sleep state, I has been projected. Akash Tattva has been projected, which is space element. Yeah. From that, the sound is projected. Sense of sound or sense of hearing, which is Shabda Tanmatra. Yeah. And from that, the actual sound, the sound object, which is the thought. It is my own projection. It is not happening from outside. There is no external element doing this. My only thoughts are the noise is like white noise. I cannot really figure out what the thoughts are saying. Yeah? The sound is not clear. That is the meaning of this. When the blurry noise that is not clear is now recognized by this I, that ego, it recognizes that it attaches to I am hearing. Yeah? This does not happen in words, I am hearing. There is a natural hearing that is happening to you that time. You are hearing the sound in your own mind. Yeah? You remember the world is projected inside out. So the projection of the sense of hearing is also happening inside out. Yeah? The projection of the object of sound happens after the projection of the sense of hearing. So let's take our regular dream example. Suppose now I am entering into my favorite dream of flying in the sky. It's not become clear yet. I'm still entering from my deep sleep state. I'm moving towards my flying in the sky dream. I have projected I have projected the space, I have projected the sound, sense of sound, which is sense of hearing, and I have projected the object of sound, which is the thought. So now from this flying dream, which is going to begin, the movement in the air has already begun. The flying has begun and I can feel the air element, and that is how I project the air element. I still cannot see, remember. Yeah, I have just projected the air element because I am feeling the air element. Yeah. The moment air element is projected, what happens? Sense of touch, sparsh tanmatra is projected. So air element in Sanskrit is called Vayu Tattva, and it projects the sense of touch, which is called Sparsha Tanmatra. The moment the sense of touch is projected, the touch of the air is projected, and then there is that I again having a thought, I am flying. Wow, I'm flying. I want to experience what this is that flying is, or this sense of touch that I'm experiencing. What is it? I want to know it. There is that new thought. Remember, everything is a thought projecting into something. First, it was the thought that wanted to recognize itself, and then the sense of I am had come up. Then there was a thought of I am the thought itself. I am the thinker. And that projected the mind. And from that there was a desire. That desire itself started the whole dream. So are you seeing, everything is simply a thought, and from thought a projection is happening. From thought another projection is happening. Yeah, so far we have projected the space element, I've projected the air element. Space element means sense of sound, and the object of sound is also projected. Air element, the sense of touch, and the object of touch is the wind that is touching me. That is also projected. Yeah. Now remember, this is very specific to this dream. If you are having another kind of dream, some emotional dream, not a flying dream, you're running away from a tiger dream, or you're fighting with a friend dream, or you are having a happy dream with your family. Whatever the dream is, the emotion is related to air element. Yeah? So if you have a happy dream, that sense of happiness gives a floating feeling. Yeah? Passion gives a restless feeling. Ambition gives a restless feeling. There's movement. All this is air element. Sadness gives a very still feeling. Air element. That's how air element is projected. First, air element is projected. From the air element, the sense of touch is projected, and from the sense of touch, the object of touch is projected. Whatever your dream, you will see that the sequence is always the same. First space, then air. Yeah? So far it's very clear, we have two elements. Yeah? Akash and Vayu, space and air. And Akash is sense of sound, which is Shabda Tanmatra, and Vayu is sense of touch. Sparsha Tanmatra. Very clear? Tanmatra is nothing else but that my own inner projection of the senses. I have still not opened my eyes and come into the waking state. I do not need these external five senses to see the world. In my dream state, without these external five senses, I see the world. And what enables me to see the world with my eyes closed in the dreaming state is tanmatras. Clear? You can say tanmatra is the mini degree of the external senses. Yeah? So now we come back to our dream. I have started experiencing just the flying sensation, nothing else. I cannot see myself flying. I just am experiencing the flying sensation, the touch of the air, the coolness or the warmth, whatever it is. Then there is immediately a desire in the eye to want to see what is this cool sensation or this warm sensation. And then that desire manifests into a proper flying image where you are actually seeing the dream very clearly now. Yeah, you see your body flying, you see the city below, you see the sky. Yeah, so what has happened? Fire element. Fire is nothing but light. It's the same thing. Yeah. So fire element was projected first, which is light element. Without light, you cannot see. Yeah. Then the Rupa Tanmatra is projected, which is the sense of sight. And then the object of sight, whatever the city I'm flying over, the sky, the trees, whatever I can see, the object of sight is projected. Clear? There is the desire to recognize or see what is this cool sensation while flying. That projects the Agni Tattva or the fire element. That projects the Rupa Tanmatra or the sense of sight. And that projects the actual sight of flying over the city. That is your first projection of having a physical body. Yeah? Now you start really seeing the dream, really hearing the words clearly. It's that clear part of the dream, yeah, which may or may not last long. Yeah? You're flying over the city, you're experiencing all Rupa. Rupa is form, all sights. And you're seeing all these beautiful images. Now what happens? When you start seeing images and you recognize I have a physical body, there is also projection of the sense of hunger or thirst in the body. Yeah? That projects the water element. Water element is Apa or Jal Tattva. Yeah? So Jal Tattva or Apa is the water element. Water is the medium for taste. You cannot taste in your dream without the saliva. You know this, right? So water is a medium for taste. So water element is projected first, then the sense of taste is projected, and then you probably land on a tree and eat a berry maybe, and you taste the berry. Yeah, so sense of taste, rasa tanmatra is projected. Clear? Jal tattva, rapa tattva is projected first, then the sense of taste, rasa tanmatra is projected, and finally the object of taste, rasa, is projected. Yeah. So taste and smell go hand in hand. You're eating, you start eating, and now you start smelling that berry also. So what enables smell? Smell cannot happen without first the earth element projected. So the earth element is projected first, which is Prithvi Tattva. Then the sense of smell, which is Gandha Tanmatra. And then there is the projection of the object of smell, whatever it is, the berry. Yeah. So I explain them sequentially. They are probably all happening in one go. Yeah, I explain them sequentially so you understand it very clearly. But it's all happening together like the web going out together. So I project the Pancha Mahabhutas I have projected already. Yeah. And their corresponding Panchindriya. What are the Pancha Mahabhuta? Earth, water, fire, ether, air. Ether is nothing else but space. And the Panchindriyas. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. Where have I projected? In my dream state. Otherwise, in my dream, I cannot eat or taste. In my dream, I would not be able to smell if I had not projected the Tanmatras and Panchamahabhutas. If I had not projected in my dream, I would not be able to sense the touch. If I had not projected, I would not be able to see images in my dream. I would not be able to hear the sounds in my dream. So I have projected first in my dream. This is the elaborate meaning of objectification of thought. Is this very clear? Every projection started with what? Just a thought. I want this. I am this. I want to fly. I want to experience this. Yeah. So every thought objectifies as a sensation or a feeling or as a perception of sight or sound, smell, taste, touch. But at its core, everything is simply thought. There is nothing else but thought. This entire universe is thought. And the material out of which thought is made is consciousness, knowledge, awareness. Yeah? Consciousness itself is the source of knowledge. Knowledge emerges from it, goes back into it. So if this is clear, now you will understand the first verse. Verse 1. Ennil ninnu jeni chennil sthiti chetulai chidum vrittiyennmaya mallade mattunnagunna tengine. How can thoughts which arise and set in me be other than myself? This entire dream is nothing but thought. It arose within me and it disappears also within me. So it is obviously me. Can it be anything outside of me? No. And what is this me? What am I? Look at that I. That's what I gave you as homework. Look at that I. That which comes up and dissolves back. Up and dissolves back. Is it separate from that ocean of knowledge? No, I am consciousness. So thought that arises in me is me. All the Pancha Mahabhutas that arose in me are me. all the Panchindriyas that arose in me are me. In simple words, all the 5 elements that arose in me and the 5 senses that arose in me and set in me, they are nothing else other than me. Which means what? From this dream state, I move into the waking state. I have the same Pancha Indriyas and the Pancha Bhutas. It's not different. So that means this world is nothing else but sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. And I already recognized that sight, sound, smell, taste and touch is simply thought. Thought arises in me and sets in me. That means the world arises in me and sets in me. This world is nothing but thought. Whoever these people are who you're so attached to in your world, look at them carefully. They are simply thought. Ekta is simply thought. Your world arises in you and sets in you. The world is simply thought. It is nothing else but myself. That brings us to the second verse. Vrittiyunda gilaneram enneka nugayanu nyan vrittiyillatirikyumbol swasthanayittu nikkayam. When there is thought, I am seeing myself. When there is no thought, I am remaining in my own glory. So that means this world is a thought. When I see this world, I am seeing myself. So if something unpleasant is happening and I am only judging and labeling it as unpleasant, it is me only, it is a reflection of me. When there is thought, I am seeing myself. And when this world disappears back into the background of nothingness, where there is no thought, then I remain in my own glory. Every morning I experience this. Every morning when I move from the deep sleep state towards the dreaming and the waking state, it's like opening up my petals. And then all day I'm looking at my petals only. When there is thought, I am knowing myself. I am seeing myself. When I close back these petals in the night, there is no thought. And I'm just remaining in my own glory. So everything is thought. There is no other possibility for anything other than thought to emerge out of an ocean of knowledge. How can the husband be real or the wife be real? How can the parent be a real object or the child be a real object? There is nothing but a wave that is possible in an ocean of water. Similarly, there is nothing but a thought that is possible in an ocean of knowledge. This entire world is my own reflection. There is no one to be angry with. There is no one to get upset with. and there is no one to love. There is no one to hate. There is no one to be compassionate with, and there is no one to be passionate about. There is nothing to relish in this world, and there is nothing to reject. There is no thing. There are no others. There are no others. There is only Jnanayum Vrittikalum, thought and myself. Clear? So I'll give you your second most important homework. When you wake up in the morning, when you transition from your deep sleep state to dreaming state, you will observe the sequence of the appearance of the five senses. Yes? You have to now be really completely one-pointed and focused. Enough of play in the world. Now this is all I need to really focus on. I have to see this happening and figure it out for myself. What is the sequence of the appearance of the five senses? Why is this important? Because when I become very clear, oh, this is not I, this is simply a projected thought, this is simply a projected thought, this is simply a projected thought. Everything, including the element, the sense of hearing, the sense of touch, the sense of taste, you will see everything as a thought. In your own experiential recognition, you'll recognize this is simply a projection. Projection is nothing but a light projecting images on a film. When you see it in reality, your attachment with this illusory world will drop. You cannot drop the attachment. It's not possible. It has to shed away by the light of my own self. That is why this homework is important. So what is the homework? Observe the sequence of the appearance of these five senses. What is the sequence? ठीक है?